darkest year. Welcome back to another installment, r/no sleep. Today, from author Abalonetea. I've been camping in the woods for 2 weeks. Yesterday, I found a horse. I don't think it was normal. Tell me why you don't think it's normal. Tell me why. Let's get right to why it's not normal. I've been camping in the woods for 2 weeks. Long enough for the world outside to feel distant, unreal. My food supply is running low, but I don't mind. Out here, the quiet is intoxicating. I spend most of my time wandering through the woods, probably straying further from my tent than is actually advised. I can't help it. I want to forget society exists. And sometimes I find cool stuff. Don't we all want society to not exist? Yesterday, I found a horse. At least I thought it was a horse at first. It stood in the clearing, framed by skeletal pines, its coat impossibly white. The air around it shimmered, like heat rising off asphalt. Its mane was long, silken, and a twisted horn jutted from its forehead, reflecting the dull light of an overcast sky. That's when I realized, holy shit, that's a unicorn. My first thought, insane, childish, felt like a dream breaking through reality. There was no way it could be anything else. It looked just like every depiction of white equines I've ever seen. It was majestic to look at, drew me in, made me want to walk out there and see just how soft that fur was. Thankfully, I saw the carcass before leaving the tent. A bear ripped open from throat to belly. Its inside spilled onto the pine needles. Steam still rose from its glistening ropes of intestine. The smell, thick, coppery, wrong, curled my stomach. The unicorn dipped its head, muzzle dark with blood, and bit deeper into the bear's ruined chest. It tore away a chunk of meat, the wet sound of it nearly sending me to my knees. I should have run. I should have backed away slowly, silently, but I stood frozen, breath stuck in my throat. I had never seen anything so grotesque. The picture of innocence, devouring the flesh of something it had to have killed itself. As I watched, the unicorn shoved its muzzle into the soft, blood-wet folds of flesh. There was an awful squelching sound as it rooted around. When it straightened back up, thick strands of rapidly cooling blood dripped from Valentine lips onto the needle-thick floor below. Its ears flicked, once, twice, and then it turned towards me. I'm getting up out of there, or I'm gonna tame it and ride it and pillage a village. Its eyes weren't a horse's eyes. They weren't even an animal's. They were black, deep, endless voids, too large, too knowing. Strings of flesh clung to its teeth, and when it chewed, I could hear the wetness of the sound. I stumbled backward, my boot snapped a branch. The creature's ear flicked, and it took a step towards me. Hooves pressed into the wet earth, leaving behind something darker than mud. The scent of decay rolled off it in waves, suffocating like an open grave. I turned and ran. Branches whipped my face, roots clawed at my ankles, but I did not stop. Behind me, I heard it move, slow at first, then faster. A steady, measured trot, the sound of hoofbeats echoing through the trees. I don't know how I made it back to the camp. I don't remember how I got inside my tent, hands shaking so violently I nearly ripped the zipper. I spent the night curled in my sleeping bag, buck knife clutched to my chest, heart stammering against my ribs. There was a moment around midnight when I swear I could hear hooves moving again, but nothing trampled my tent. This morning, I forced myself outside. The woods were silent. No birds, no wind. The trees loomed too close, their bark split in weeping something dark. It only took a second to realize that something thin and sharp had been scraping into the trunks, leaving behind deep gauges. My stomach twisted into knots. The forest no longer felt like a safe haven or a way to escape the crash of reality. Especially not when I stepped further into the morning light and saw the hoof prints circling my tent. I left. At this point, this guy is being stalked by a unicorn. What an interesting concept. It didn't matter how much I loved the quiet or how badly I wanted to escape society. None of it mattered anymore. Something was out there with me. That creature had circled my tent in the night, and I wasn't about to wait around to see what happened next. My hands shook as I tore down the camp, stuffing my sleeping bag into my pack and rolling up my tent with frantic, clumsy fingers. I left behind anything that slowed me down: food, cookware, even my extra clothes. I slung my pack over my shoulders and took off down the trail, moving fast, too fast. My boots slipped against damp leaves. I didn't look back, not until I heard it. Hoofbeats. Slow at first, then faster. I spun around, heart stammering, and caught a flash of movement between the trees, white shifting between the skeletal pines. My body moved before my mind caught up. I grabbed the knife from my belt and threw. The blade spun, glinting dully in the weak morning light. Then it sank deep into something soft. The sound that followed was not human. A shrill, kneeling wail tore through the woods, sharp enough to send ice racing through my veins. My breath caught as I took an involuntary step forward, stomach twisting. It was small, smaller than the one I'd seen yesterday. Its coat was white but dull, streaked with dirt and dried blood. Its huge, black, endless eyes looked into mine, and something in them made my chest constrict. The knife was buried in its throat. Blood welled up, dark and slow, spilling over its chest in thick, sluggish rivers. Its legs trembled, buckled, then it collapsed. I didn't stay to watch it die. I ran. I fucking ran. The hoofbeats didn't follow, but I felt something behind me, something massive and furious, pressing against my back like the weight of a coming storm. The drive back to civilization was a blur. My hands shook so badly, I nearly veered off the dirt road. Now I'm sitting in my car at a gas station, typing this out, trying to calm my breathing. I think I saw a unicorn in the woods. I think I killed its child. So, what do you think the chances are that this ends badly for me? Really, really cool short, man. Really cool short. Wow. Killer unicorns? I didn't think I would be excited to read about killer unicorns. That was really, really cool. Like always, I am the mid-grid masochist. Please like, subscribe. Appreciate you.